Now, hey, Jermall, I want to pronounce your last name right because I don't want to get into a fight, you know what I mean, where I know I'll lose, you know what I mean? So please tell me your last name.
Charlo.
Jermall Charlo, you know what I mean? So please tell me your last name.
Charlo.
Jermall Charlo, you know what I mean? So please tell me your last name.
Charlo.
Jermall Charlo is on the...
Who won the fight, Harrison or Charlo?
I don't know what the fuck happened.
Okay. Power.
All right, what's up? Man, was Young Maul getting hit with Korobov's left hand all night or what? It's a very interesting debut night of fights on Fox this past Saturday. I don't like to curse, but I'm going to say one curse word in this video. I'll let you know when it's coming. Alright, in the two main fights, you arguably had two 115, 113 type of fights, if you really want to argue. A bad night for the Lions. All three Lions. Jermell Charlo, Jermall Charlo, and the third Lion, LL, Lennox the Lion, Lennox Lewis. It was also a bad night for the Hazard family. My man Larry Hazard Sr. was a bit off the mark with his scores. And the official judge, Larry Hazard Jr., 119, 108? Really, dude? And you were the only judge to score the 12th round 10-8. Now, Larry Hazard, the father, is my man. I always chatted up with him whenever I'm at the fights, mainly in Jersey, because he's the commissioner. But Larry's cards were debatable from what I hear. Almost not debatable, to be honest. I was there live, but those who were watching on TV gave me his scores. His son was grossly off the mark, however. I'm a conspiracy theorist, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Somebody sent the Charlo boys a message last Saturday night. Not one, but both Charlo brothers. They sent Jermell a message with the loss. And sometimes you send a message to one person to also send the message to another. In this case, the message to Jermell is to shape up. He did something to anger Al Heyman. And Alan Heyman said, okay, let me set you straight, my man. But the message for Young Maul is clear too. You don't shape up and you're next. And I won't just make it a direct hit on you. I'll keep messing with little brother and land an indirect hit on you through him. Just like Saturday night. Now you guys might not like what I just said, but I think it's a game. All you want, okay? Hear me out. You spent money on marketing, and this was the debut as part of a new deal with Fox. So during every football game and highly rated TV show on Fox, all you talked about was the Charlo twins. I mean, you marketed it heavy. And you got a lot of crossover fans who tuned in. Then in a close fight, you allow the belt to change hands from the Charlo brother who was a world champion? Nah, man. You can be mad at me if you want. But the more you think about it, he's the co-feature in the better matchup on a debut show. And there's no competing promotion. You understand? Jermell and Tony are both Heyman guys. You understand? So it wasn't like a co-promotion with one top-ranked fighter in there and then one premier guy. They were both premier. And the, how shall I say it? The marketed guy in a close fight lost a unanimous, not a split, not a majority, but unanimous. Come on, man. With one card being 16-12, that's a message that came through loud and clear. And I have a feeling, if you don't see future knockouts in fights, it won't be the last time it happens. And it won't be just these fighters. Message loud and clear. Let's move on. I'm going to tell you about another message that's being, it's beginning to come through loudly, but not quite clear yet to most. Dominic Breazeale scored a 9th round stoppage over Carlos Negron. Okay, Breazeale landed a big overhand right, and Arthur McCanty Jr. properly waved it off. And you can't always use the word properly with Arthur McCanty Jr., but he didn't have a choice here. Breazeale didn't look good early on, as I gave the first 3 rounds, watching it live, to Carlos. The jab and movement from the southpaw angle was effective. Then he became a switch hitter, which further confused Dominic. In rounds 4 through 7, Breazeale came on strong, and I gave him those rounds. And then a monstrous overhand right ended it. And then he and Deontay Wilder began talking back and forth. Now, during the post-fight interview, Breazeale looked at Wilder, who had a kid in his arms, and said, he better be holding on to that baby really tightly because I'm coming. Now, some fans in the arena, and probably those who watched on television, they were a little shaky with that statement. But if you do your research, though, Breazeale felt justified with that statement. He claimed Wilder attacked him and his family in that pandemonium that went on at the hotel lobby brawl last year. WWE, man. Wilder's entourage came through and rushed Breazeale for reasons unknown. Now, Breazeale said Wilder's punk-ass brother punched him in the back of the head and ran. And then they attacked his family, who was with him. And that's a no-no. I agree. The video of the incident is all over YouTube. Judge yourself. And I'm not doubting Breazeale. I don't know him. But he always refers to the video footage. He always tells any interview where that comes up, he says, just look at the video footage. So he believed. So look, he's saying the tape doesn't lie. He believes he was rushed by them because Gerald Washington is a friend of his, and he was cheering for Washington against Wilder. And he claimed Wilder was mad at that. And he heard it during the fight. And he came to the hotel with intentions to let Brazil know what it was. Folks, and I could be wrong here, but you are about to get played by boxing once again. You ready for AJ versus White and Wilder versus Brazil? I could be wrong, but don't be shocked if you get it. And Fury, Tyson Fury's in on it too. His trainer was already saying Wilder shouldn't be next for Fury, which didn't make a whole lot of sense, but maybe they want to really finely tune Fury so that when he does fight Wilder again, he could take him out. But if Wilder jumps to AJ and gets stopped, then it kind of messes that up. But still gives you the option, the other option. So if we get played by boxing on the drug testing, on the corrupt judging, and then BS like this where we don't get AJ versus Wilder, or Fury versus Wilder, or AJ versus Fury, do we finally walk away from the sport? Or do we complain and say we are losing our interest and only threaten for the 50th time to walk away? I think we're all cowards if we don't and keep dealing with this WWE stuff. Well, back then it was called WWF, but come to think of it, isn't that how we all got hooked on WWF or WWE back in the day? Entertainment, right? All right. In the co-feature, the title changed hands as Tony Superbad Harrison won a unanimous, not a split, unanimous decision over Jermell. I believe he calls himself Iron Man Charlo. Or maybe that's the other brother, I don't know. But I know Tony is Superbad Harrison. And I think he was named after Bernard Superbad Mays, which was a guy who Emmanuel Stewart had some years ago in the Kronk Gym, who probably could have beaten Leonard Hearns. I mean, he was that good, but he dealt with some demons. I'll leave it at that. Okay. Let's talk about the fight. Most people won't agree with what I say because they won't hear how I'm saying it. That's okay. Stay with us. Subscribe and leave your comments. All right? It's all debatable anyway. I think you can make an argument for both guys in this fight. It was a close fight. Some feel it wasn't. Nobody that feels Harrison won thinks it was a blowout. At least nobody that I've spoken to. There were a few people who thought Charlo won 116-112, which in reality is not a close fight. What it means is one guy won 4 rounds. The other guy won 4 rounds. And then he won 4 more. So he doubled them up. So that's 8 rounds to 4. That's not a close fight. If you go back to my prediction video, you heard me say like 5 times I really wanted to take Harrison in this fight. I mean, I wanted to take him bad. And whoever bet Harrison made big money, especially if you got him at the plus 1,200, or was it plus 1,500? Even if you took him at plus 850, if you put something decent down, it's going to be a great Christmas present for you and whoever else, for sure. Listen closely, okay? Here's the caveat. Now, the following debatable statements I make are based on watching the fights live in the arena, not watching on television. You guys have got to get out to the fights, score them live, and then go home and watch them with or without commentators' voices. Okay, this is one of those fights you watch live and you see things television doesn't show, especially round 9, and I'll talk about that a little later. But here's what I saw. In my prediction, I said that Harrison was going to box Charlo up, and he did. Just not as much as I thought he would, but when the jab was there. Charlo fell out of position like I said he would, but Harrison didn't capitalize on it. Watching live, I saw Harrison connect on some shots that weren't big power shots, but as time goes on, you start to feel them. On a couple of occasions, Jermell didn't just reset. He took a couple of steps backwards. And that told me Harrison was doing good work. Harrison didn't go for it enough during those moments. And a lot of what Charlo hit Harrison with was blocked. But I'm sure they look clean to the commentators who often watch the fight on a television monitor right in front of them and not necessarily in the ring. At the fight, in my notes, I wrote Harrison was tentative and didn't do much of anything in round 1. I called round 2 a close round as Harrison landed a nice combo. And round 3, a nice right hand by Tony. And Jermell's jab was strong, unlike my voice, which is failing me right now. In the 4th, Charlo landed some nice body shots while Harrison landed a great jab. I gave Tony the 4th. In round 5, a big right hand by Harrison. Tony's jab was taken over. He started to box Jermell up, as we predicted. Charlo landed a shot that hurt Tony in the 5th. Tony landed a nice jab and counter in round 6. I thought Tony did good work in the 6th and 7th. I agree with the judges on those rounds. I gave the final round to Jermell, of course. Those were just notes I jotted down, nothing serious. Listen, if you thought Jermell Charlo won the fight, I can't argue with you. I won't argue with you. If you think Harrison eked out the win, I won't argue with that either. All I'm saying is I think by watching live and not from a television in the arena or television at home, you see and hear things differently in some of those fights. This was a live versus TV kind of fight. Sort of like Joe Calzaghe versus Bernard Hopkins, where pretty much the entire press row had to fight 114, 113 for Hopkins, but when you watched television, you would think it was 116, 112 Calzaghe. I mean, it's one of those type fights. It doesn't matter what the commentators were saying or weren't saying. It's just one of those, I saw something live and then I watched it on TV and just saw something different. In the end, I think my card had it like 7-5 or a draw or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. I remember adding my totals up and then trying to go downstairs to get some interviews, and I can't find my score sheet. But if you say Jermell won that fight big, I don't think so. Tony seems to think he's going to fight a voluntary in Detroit and then run it back with Charlo. Derek James has different ideas, and when I asked him, he said, nah, we're trying to run it right back. If Harrison is ordered to do the immediate rematch, he should be as much of a problem in negotiations as he was in the ring. Ring size, glove type, location, money, everything he can think of to bring to the table, he should, because in a way he's in control right now, especially mentally. Okay, now here's the cursing part. Here's the curse word. A couple of people called me and texted me who were watching the fight at home, and I hear people heard Derek James tell Jermell to box Harrison like EJ, meaning Errol Spence. So box him like Errol Spence. What the fuck does that mean? I mean, like, that doesn't make sense to me, and I don't know. And I don't think Ronnie Shields would have given that advice, but I don't know. Let's move on. In the main event, Young Maul, Jermall Charlo, took on late replacement Matty Korobov. Charlo won by unanimous decision, but the scores were suspect. So we have to add Larry Hazard Jr., who's been off the mark a few times. Recently, as a matter of fact, we have to add Larry Hazard Jr. to our list. That includes Adelaide Bird. For the new listeners, we have an official list to keep your eye on them. Whenever you see those names, be wary. Adelaide Bird. We know why. Alejandro Rochin, who had Wilder up by a significant amount versus Fury. Jack Woodburn, who had Adonis Stevenson up 98-92 over Alexander Vosdik. No way. And of course, our favorite judge. You know who he is. Don Trella. Coming to your area, causing mass hysteria. Don Trella. Keep an eye on these folks. Hazard Jr. scored it 119-108. No excuse for that score. Max DeLuca and Steve Weisfeld, well, they're house guys, and they shouldn't be excused either for their 116-112 cards. But there were a couple of rounds early I missed in this fight, and I won't be unfair, even though I know these two guys' MO. I missed couple of the early first two rounds. I've said in the past, Charlo has fought no one at 160, but everybody fell in love with that power, that knockout. You know what I mean, causing a little bit of amnesia. So, you know, you make these guys out to be more than they are, and I'm not just picking on the twins. I'm just talking about up and comers. We're all guilty of it. He's fought no one at 160. Old man stepped in and showed him a few things, a la Old Man G versus Nello. That's Triple G versus Canelo, folks. Watching live. Once again, I gave Korobov the 3rd through the 5th rounds. I gave Charlo 6 through 8. I gave Matt the 9th and 11th. Of course, Charlo won the 12th. Young Maul won the 12th round. The question is, did you score it 10-8 or 10-9? And excuse me, because I misspoke earlier. I said I gave Jermell, thinking about this fight, I gave Jermell the 12th when I said of course. Of course I gave Jermall I should say. The 12th. But how'd you have it? 10-8 or 10-9? I didn't see the first 2 rounds, as I stated, because I was chasing Tony Harrison and Jermell Charlo in the basement of the Barclays. And I wound up catching Tony and Derek James, Charlo's trainer, but not Jermell, who was in the dressing room hurting from losing his title. And his head is messed up right now. It was messed up after the fight. And then as you go to your dressing room, it's messed up. You go to the what do you call it? The press conference, post-fight press conference is messed up. You get on that plane from New York to H-Town, and it's messed up. But right now, he's really messed up right now. Trust me. From the rounds I saw, I have it a draw. Okay. If you go 10-8, I have Young Maul by a point. But mind you, I have to watch rounds 1 and 2. But any way you look at it, it's either a draw, a 1-round win by either guy. That's it. That's it. Just based on, in my book, based on the count. If you want to go back and watch 1 and 2, if you want me to do it, I will. But it was close. Certainly not 11-1 or 9-3. So, where do the guys go from here? For Brazil, he obviously wants Wilder. I think he might get it. I'm telling you, boxing is going to play you again, and you aren't going to do anything about it. But watch. For Young Maul, you know the Charlo brothers have to be a little fragile mentally. Okay? You can argue they could have jumped on that plane from New York back to Texas 0-2. Okay? For Jermall, that fight was a learning experience. He might have lost to Austin Trout. And he might have lost Saturday night if you watch those fights. I mean, they were razor thin. He's done nothing at 160. And he may need to reassess going after the big boys. Nevertheless, he has the bogus WBC interim title, so there's probably no turning back. Full steam ahead. No moving backwards. Now, Young Maul has had trouble with 2 lefties in Austin Trout and Korobov. He struggled badly. So, moving forward, there are 2 southpaws in the top 10, and I'd stay away from both, no matter how you feel about them. Okay. There's Demetrius Andrade, and there's Billy Joe Saunders. Wouldn't touch him right now. Okay, so he won a questionable decision against one old man in Korobov. And even though Gennady Golovkin has almost reached wheelchair status, I wouldn't advise Charlo to take that one either. Unless he's being cashed out, like it seems his brother is, when you think about it. The Charlo brothers have never been marketed right for some reason. No home headliners in Houston. No headlining period until Saturday night. It's odd because they have the best personalities in premier boxing. Best meaning not nice guys, but polarizing to the point of being must-see TV. So there appears to be a pattern of questionable decisions on how these boys have been handled. I just don't get it. Jermall is Canelo's mandatory WBC challenger, and so he wants Canelo or G. My advice would be to go after newly crowned WBA regular belt holder, whatever that means, Rob Brandt. Magic Soyeki, Danny Jacobs' leftovers, is another option. Hassan Endam is an option, also coming off a majority decision victory over Martin Murray. Yeah, whatever happened to Jacobs? He said, I'm going to be there ringside, and I wonder if somebody kind of got in his ear and said, don't do it. Like, we want you both to go a different direction. You got to wonder. Because that was hot. I mean, that's one the fans want to see. It's a natural. Have it in New York, and I don't know. Anyway, bad blood and all that. All right, for Jermell, he wants the rematch. But he needs to be very careful. Very careful. As I stated in the prediction video, if he comes to the rematch and decides to box, I think Tony Harrison is going to box him up. You understand? Tony was a bit tentative in the early rounds, but he shook it off and found his rhythm. His jab was a controlling factor in the rounds he won. So, if Jermell comes out again like he did in this fight and tries to be his brother, he's going to get smoked. I'm telling you. Harrison is going to land something big on him, because now you have a guy who knows he can win. A guy with this better stamina to go 12. Not the tentative guy from the early rounds like on Saturday. So, I'm telling you, because they asked Charlo, what would you do differently against Harrison? He kept talking about, well, my power. And I'm telling you, if he comes out swinging for the fences like he did on Saturday, he will get smoked. One thing Harrison will see on tape that I mentioned in the prediction video is Jermell falls too much out of position when he punches. He's fundamentally sound a lot of times defensively, especially when you lead. But when he leads, he often falls out of position. Let me take you to the 9th round to show you how to score a fight. I want to show you just a great boxing exhibition. Okay, I'm going to leave the video below. When it loads, sometimes when I load a video, I forget to add the video below, but trust me, it'll pop into my head, and I'm going to leave a video below. I want you to watch the 9th round. So Vegas doesn't do this, how you score rounds. Vegas doesn't do this. They score aggression. That's not how you score rounds. On the East Coast, they only score effective aggression. I mean, for the most part, hypothetically, okay? I mean, not hypothetically, but for the most part. That's just East Coast scoring. We pay attention to the 4 criterion. So, in the video I'll leave below, it'll have commentators from another country, so you won't have to worry about the commentating. But watch round 9, how Harrison by now has slowed the fight down to his pace. And what I'm saying is he didn't get proper credit. I'm not saying Harrison won or lost. What I'm saying is he didn't get proper credit for stuff like he did in the 9th. His jab not only controlled Charlo. I don't think people understand what that means when I say a jab control. His jab moved Charlo to where Harrison wanted him to move. Then he took his side steps. Jermell was wild in the 9th round. One wild uppercut missed. Harrison didn't make him pay. But he did about 4 or 5 other times in the round. So let's look at that video below. Go to right after the 25-minute, 48-second mark. Harrison throws a jab. Charlo cuts the ring off well. At a smidge past 25 minutes, 52 seconds, Charlo then throws a left jab, left uppercut, and right hand. But before the right hand lands, Harrison slips a left hook in to score. It happened so quickly, you probably didn't see it on television for sure. But you can see it live. And you can see it at home now. If you rewind it a few times, it was quick. It was just a left hook. So Charlo goes left jab, left uppercut, right hand. But before that right hand lands, Harrison throws a left hook. Bop. And then Charlo followed up with a 1-2 and another 1-2 as Harrison moved away. Okay? Both combinations were slipped or parried, meaning blocked or what have you. But I'm sure Fox persuaded viewers into thinking those punches landed. Watch the video. Then a big left hook at 26 minutes, 29 seconds of the video missed. And Harrison countered that left hook as Charlo left his right hand down. Right after that, just a little bit after 26 minutes, 32 seconds, Charlo reached for a right to the body, and he got clipped by a right hand counter by Harrison. And then Harrison moved away while Charlo had to reset. Beautiful boxing. Just take a look at it. Tony jabbed Jermell and moved him again. And then Tony got aggressive and landed a 1-2 at 26 minutes, 44 seconds of the video. Okay. Then at 27:09 of the video, Jermell jumped in with a big 1-2. And Tony it was almost like a pull counter. He kind of moved his upper body back and connected with a big right hand. Maybe his best punch. Big right. Charlo was too square, had his hands down, and he was out of position. And this was part of our keys in the prediction video. And then at 27 minutes, 33 seconds, a fully confident Harrison, he threw a 3-piece. As you see a concerned Jared Hurd in the crowd, straight ahead on the monitor, looked kind of worried. And then Hurd looked up at the big screen to see how much time was left in the round. He knew the shift was happening. At 27 minutes, 55 seconds of the video, Charlo caught Harrison with a nice right hand. And for the rest of the round, Tony used his awkward bend over technique to make Jermell hesitate, just to keep him off balance. It's very crafty. He did it at 28 minutes, 8 seconds of the video with the right shoulder. He did it at 28 minutes, 10 seconds with the left shoulder. And then he pivoted. And then at 28:16 in the video, or 21 seconds left on the clock, Jermell did something weird. He backed off. Weird. Watch it in the video. At 28 minutes, 16 seconds of the video, or if you're looking at the ring clock, it's about 21 seconds left. And then what was also weird is after Harrison landed a left hook, at 28 minutes, 31 seconds of the video, Charlo did it again. He kind of walked away to reset. This small thing that no one notices is very important for Harrison in order to win the rematch. There's something in his movement that when he gets to a certain point, Jermell has to back off and reset, almost as if he has two left feet. And Charlo threw a wild right at 28 minutes 36 seconds of the video that missed badly. And as the bell rang, look at Harrison run, kind of stick his tongue out and have fun in there. He kind of ran to the center of the ring as if he was going to a neutral corner, and then he kind of went back to his corner. But he knew. I'm telling you, he usually fades around this time, but I think he was energized. But whether he was going to fade or not, he knew he had him. I can't stress enough. Jermell is going to have to watch a lot of tape. Harrison did a lot of old school stuff in there that isn't easy to see without a lot of tape study. Mark my words. Mark them. If Jermell comes out as the knockout Jermell guy, he's going to get smoked in the rematch. I mean badly. Meaning he's going to get wobbled. He's going to get dropped. Stopped. I'm not sure. We'll see. But I'm not sure Jermell can outbox this kid either. He's going to have to work on cutting the ring off and being aggressive, but in a fundamentally sound kind of way. He has to be busier than he was in this fight, and I like him to go to the body more. But the busy part, it has to be controlled. Can't be wild. Got to be honest, listeners. I think both Charlos are a bit damaged mentally right now. The younger one, knowing he lost his belt, and Big Brother knowing deep inside his fight was as close can get. It's going to be interesting for both kids. I got some giveaways. I have 3 t-shirts from the fight. Front and back should be showing on the screen right about now. And I also got a couple of, I can't call them paintings. I can't call them anything. I mean, they look nice, but I think somebody just made prints of pictures and put a piece of plastic over top of them. But what you have to do is go to thefightjournal.com, and you know what? I might have changed the site. I might have changed the site, or I might not have. If you go to thefightjournal.com, yeah, somewhere up the top, you should see something that says about, and you'll see an email. Okay, don't go to the contact us. Well, yeah, nah, you know what? You can go to contact us. Go to contact us or go to about. If you hit contact us and send an email, and you're the first to request what you want, then you win, and I'll ship it out to you. Or if you go to about, you'll actually see the email address. Either way. So I got 3 t-shirts. I want to say 2 of them are XL and 1 of them are large, or it could be vice versa. And I got the one Charlo brother, whatever you call it, picture, and then the one with all those boxers, the collage. So, hey, first one, it's yours. And then we can talk about how we're going to get it to you. Catch you guys on the next one.